Hi everybody, welcome back to another edition of Design with me, Ashley D. And today we are going to be working on these fatheads I created for my husband's birthday. I made 2 of them, and for all the supplies I spent $26 on 2 fatheads. So stay tuned and I'm going to show you exactly how I made them. And before we get started, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And also, if you have time, check out my blog. There's some amazing things on there to check out, from things that you should include in your house when it's time to sell and put your house on the market, to Christmas gifts. I know we have Christmas coming up, so there's Christmas ideas for women and for men on my blog. So don't forget to check that out as well, and make sure that you put a heart and comment underneath my blogs to let me know what you think and if you like the content. So now let's get started. You will need a board from the dollar store, an X-Acto knife, a card of some sort. I used a hotel card, but you can use a credit card. Then you'll also need a piece of cardboard. I'll make sure I link all the supplies and how much it costs exactly down in the description bar below. So these posters that I got from Office Max, they actually stick on the back side, so I didn't have to buy any additional adhesive to stick it to the board. You can use any graphic design program to get this image, and you just delete everything around the head, just leaving the head only. So that's what I did in order to prep this project, and that's actually something that I did off camera. But if you would like more information about it, definitely let me know down in the comments, and I can do a separate video showing you all how I got down to his actual head. So now I'm prepping my poster board, and I'm putting I'm putting the picture in the center of the poster board. You want to try to get it as centered as possible, but if it's a little off center, that's fine, because you just want to make sure that you put it in the center to have room for error when you're cutting around the head. At least you'll have enough space for the picture to be on the poster board, because that's the goal. So now what I'm doing is I'm separating the backing from the adhesive poster, and I'm going to be sticking that directly onto a foam board, shall I say, that I got from the dollar store. So that's what I'm working on now. So you want to do it little bits at a time. So I'm just folding a little piece of it back, and I begin sticking it down on the board. Now, I'm using a card for this, as you'll see in the next few shots here, but I would say your fingers work best, because I had to go back with my fingers and push out air bubbles, because that's exactly what you do not want on your poster board. Is you want to make sure that you get all of the air bubbles out, and my fingers work best, I felt, versus this card. But I mean, if the card works, hey, use what works for you. But in my instance, I was still getting air bubbles using the card. I started using my fingers after a while, and that just worked better for me, as you can see there. So you want to take your time, and like I said, do little sections to make sure that all of the air bubbles are out of the poster, sticking it onto the foam board. As you can see there in the bottom right hand corner of his jaw there, you can see there's a little air bubble there. So I'm going back through and getting that air bubble out of the corner there. So you just want to keep maintaining this process till you get the poster stuck all of the way down to the foam board, and all of the air bubbles are out. Okay, so that's the first step, is just getting that poster, sticking it directly onto your foam board. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that cardboard piece, and we're going to put it underneath one side of his head, and that's the side that I'm going to start cutting on with my X-Acto knife. And I would say you definitely need an X-Acto knife for this part versus scissors, because it just cuts so much better and so much more precise. So the best advice I can give for cutting this head out is you want to cut exactly onto the actual print, but not going too far enough. You just want to cut exactly on the line of it, and you might want to go just barely into the image just a little bit, because what you don't want is you don't want a lot of white peeking out of the sides. Best way I found to do that and not have any of the white from either the poster or the poster board on to actual fathead is that I cut directly onto the design. So as you can see here, I'm cutting directly on his face, but I'm only going a little bit into his face to make sure that I get some pretty exact cuts. I will say, if you do have white around the edges, you'll see later on in the video there's time to clean up those edges, so that way when you're holding up the fathead, you won't see the whites around the outside, and you'll have more of a precise and clean cut look. Also, what I'm doing as well is this poster board is so big, so I'm cutting it in sections. So as you can see, I cut the bottom portion of his jaw already, and I'm just making an additional cut down the center of the poster board, so that way that piece of the poster board is gone now and it's not in the way. Do what's best for you and easiest for you. What works for me is just cutting in sections, so that's what I'm doing now. I cut in 4 sections, so of course one side of the jaw, then the other, and then the top left of his head, and then the top right of his head is what I cut. So now that my design is totally cut out, as you can see, I still have some white pieces peeking through. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go back through and clean up the image and cut those white pieces off, so that way when you hold it up, you'll just see his head and you won't be focused on white pieces around the top of his hairline and on his ears and everything. So that's what you're going to see now, is me going back through and cleaning it up. Okay, so just the last few bits of cleanup there and we are done. And what you can do, this is optional, I didn't include it in this video, but you can get the paddles from the dollar store, and you can put those at the bottom of the heads so that way they can hold them up in the picture. But that's totally optional as to whether you want to add a strap across the back or a paddle underneath the fat heads. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much again for watching and supporting my videos. See you next time.